Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has ruled out changing our biosecurity laws to allow US beef imports and achieve a carve-out from US trade tariffs. Joining me live for discussion is Nationals leader David Littleproud. Hi there, David. Just a little bit before the break, we heard you say that Australia's biosecurity and traceability were sacrosanct, but isn't our trade, overall trade, also important, maybe more important?
Well, you won't have trade unless you've got a clean green product that Australia has. That's our competitive advantage. And what you need to make sure is you protect the protocols and processes and the science that's been put in place that's protected the brand of Australian agricultural products to be the most sought after in the world. If you trade that away, then you open yourselves up to the risks of introducing pests and disease that we don't have. That means that we can't trade in some parts of the world. That's our competitive advantage, and that's something that we need to make sure this government understands, and they don't use that as a trading tool with President Trump.
You've said that we can trade on our historic relationship, our friendship, and also things like critical minerals and AUKUS. But those are long-term things, and we know how much Trump likes, short-term voter support. So isn't beef or agriculture a better political carrot to get more for our bargaining chip?
Well, I think it's important to appreciate that we already import United States beef. It just means that those animals that are imported here were born in the United States, not animals that were born in Mexico or Canada, where we don't have a line of sight or control over the supply chain. We don't have traceability of the supply chain outside the United States, where the risk is far greater of bringing in things like mad cow disease. So it's important you understand that you have to go through the entire United States supply chain. We've already got a free trade agreement with the United States. We've honoured that. We're not the ones imposing tariffs. It's President Trump that's broken those agreements and the rules-based order. And the reality is that we've welcomed United States beef. Australian farmers compete with United States beef. But when you start taking other elements of their supply chain from other elements of their continent, it poses a risk to our ability to have a clean green image as Australian beef producers.
Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that US imports of beef will not be allowed unless it could be done safely, the animals born in Mexico and Canada that you talk about. So that's not a problem, right?
Well, when you see reports from the department saying that that is one of the tools in which President Trump was going to be offered, there needs to be certainty. The Prime Minister needs to rule it out immediately. He needs to make sure that he's very clear with Australian producers that our biosecurity standards will not be reduced, and that in fact we'll look to have, if we want to get imports that originated from Mexico or Canada, that there's some traceability on it, like Australian producers have. I don't think Australian producers are asking for anything unfair here. They're just trying to protect their production systems, making sure that they can not only feed Australians but feed the world. And the Prime Minister and his department, who are mooting these things, need to be very, very clear with Australian beef producers that it's not on the table and it won't be on the table at all. But when you start getting these reports, you don't start seeing these reports unless there's smoke. And when there's smoke, there's fire.
David, if we do get higher US beef imports, how much are we talking about, and what's that going to do to the market? Security issues aside.
Oh, look, we're already getting. Yeah, I mean, we're already getting United States beef into the market. We compete with them on our shelves and in restaurants. Overwhelmingly, Australian consumers look for Australian beef, and I think we've done a good job in being able to market, even into geographical regions, our own beef here. So we don't fear the fact of us competing with the US beef that's already coming into Australian markets. What we do fear is a drop in biosecurity standards that would pose a biosecurity risk that could damage our herd, cost Australian farmers billions, as well as the Australian economy. So we don't fear competition. We're prepared to put our product next to anyone else's in the world. It's the best in the world, but it's the best in the world because we have the best biosecurity in the world, and we shouldn't relinquish that to anybody, no matter the circumstances.
Thank you so much for your time. David Littleproud, Nationals leader.